Hey everybody, my name is Jim Farmer. I'm an arts reporter for Georgia Voice here in Atlanta. I also coordinate out on film the LGBTQ film festival here in town. I am so happy today to be talking to Tyler DiChiara, who is one of the stars of Gotham Knights, which is premiering on the CW later in March. Thank you so much, Tyler.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's so cool to be here.
I'm sorry that I missed you at ATV at TV Fest. I covered 2 days ahead. I was not available. I missed this. I hope you had a good time here.
Oh, no, don't apologize. It was so much fun to be there. I mean, I loved seeing everybody's reaction to everything, and it's so weird to have wrapped just like a few weeks ago.
Exactly.
It's crazy to think about it.
How did this project come up?
Oh, just like any other audition, I was, doing the actor thing, just working my 9 to 5 job, doing the auditions on the side. And I got this from my agents one day, and I was like, okay, well, I see DC in the title. I'm like, I don't care what my character is. I'm just gonna do it. But when I read the character description, I really connected with Cullen on such a strong uh I just connected with Cullen so much on a strong basis, and it was such a fun audition to do. So, but as every actor would know, this craft is hard. You don't get any feedback. You just kind of do the audition and hope to God that something comes back to you. So that was kind of my thing. I just did the audition and went back to my normal life. I was like, okay, fingers are crossed.
Exactly.
So when I was like, it went by pretty quick though. So once I got the audition, like a week after, I got a call back and I was like, okay,
Nice.
we're doing things, we're moving. And then, but it's like that's just a callback, there's still gonna be people. But it all fell into place really, really quickly. And I'm so blessed to be a part of such an amazing project.
Oh, congratulations. I did watch the first episode and I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to diving into the rest of the series. Were you pretty familiar with the source material?
I'm very familiar with Batman, but in terms of this multiverse where Batman is dead and you're diving down a whole nother world away from the normal villains that you usually see in Gotham. I never actually dove down the Eternal comic books, which is what we're pretty much based off of. And I just got volumes 1, 2, and 3, not like the small versions that some comic book stores give you. I got like the full packets, and they are actually really, really great comic books. I love the idea of a Batman struggling because he is just a man who is taking on just too much after figuring out who his parents' murderer was. He takes on such a bigger role than just figuring out the murder. He now takes on being Gotham's protector, and I think that he needs that help. He needs someone to lean on and to just say, yeah, okay, if I can't do this one day because this guy broke my leg, I got my family to back me up.
Sure.
And it's definitely diving down the Bat family a bit more.
Okay. You played Cullen Row. Can you tell us a little bit about Cullen?
Yeah, Cullen Row is definitely an underestimated character. You don't think he can do all the things until he actually does it. And it's, in the comic books, he was very underestimated to the point where he was the background character. He never really was part of the action. In our show, that all changes. They really Natalie, Chad, James, Devin, all the writers on the team really did such a great job with creating such a character that is the same but yet is so much stronger in
Yeah.
on screen because why wouldn't I be fighting back? Why wouldn't I be a part of the
Exactly.
action? My sister, who's a twin, is doing all this. I want to be a part of that, and I don't want her going in alone, especially dealing with all of our past situations. Like we do things together. So the fact that they gave Cullen a voice this time and a backbone and some thick skin, that's it's really really beautiful to see.
I was reading earlier, because it sort of seemed like from everything I read that Cullen was sort of a victim in the comic book, but Cullen's not a victim in this series.
No, he was definitely a victim in the comic books. He got his butt whooped all the
Yeah.
time, and I'm like, why? Like, I know that kid could whoop butt. So I'm just really excited for you to see Cullen's progression, even in this series. Like, yeah, you can see that he definitely can handle himself, but as time progresses, like he's a very capable vigilante type of man, he's more than meets the eye, and I'm very excited for you guys to see his growth in the series.
Nice. Can you talk about Cullen's relationship with Harper?
Yeah. So the relationship that me and Harper have, she is my twin sister. We have grown up in the slums of Gotham, and had to battle not only an abusive parent, but having to now live on the streets because she got us both out of very abusive situations regarding our father. So we both agreed that in our just talking me and Fallon, that our characters were 2 years on the streets alone.
Yeah.
So in that time frame, we had to learn how to protect ourselves, how to fend for ourselves. That had to do with stealing and being little thieves. But what would you do in Gotham? I feel like anyone in Gotham, especially homeless teenagers, will do what they got to do to their keep their lives. And throughout the years that we've been on the streets, we come into contact eventually with Duella. That sets off the story for the pilot. So yeah, me and Harper have been by each other's sides for years because we have just struggled so much, and yet she has always protected me as the sibling. And now Cullen feels it's necessary for him to start protecting her and just protecting himself too, because I think his arc is definitely, I want to show my sister that I can protect myself whilst also protecting you. Like, you don't have to fend for me anymore. Like, I was always able to do it by myself. And she admits that along in the series. You'll see that she recognizes Cullen's strength and takes note of that and says, okay, I think I can take my motherly sister vibe down a bit for him to be himself and spread his wings. So we definitely have that just brother sister dynamic, and it's beautiful to see.
Nice. I love the aspect of this series. These sort of outcasts all sort of come together and work, to protect themselves and sort of, avenging. But can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we all have to come together because we've just been put in this really shitty situation, especially having all of the things that make being a vigilante, being a hero stripped away from you. These are just kids trying to clear their names, but then we realize we can do more than just, after we're done clearing our names, we can do more than just disappear. We can be there for Gotham. We can do more. We can do what Batman does. And especially like now, with what's going on in the world, I feel like the younger generation has a lot of cleaning up to do after the older generation. It's kind of like that. Like, Batman has left such a big legacy to take on, and Turner Hayes has such a fear for that. He knows he has such a big shadow to fill, in a sense, and I feel like with us on his back, just knowing that he's got us to be there for him, it's going to make that job a little easier, because I know after figuring out his dad is Batman, he goes on this emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
But, I think we all realize, even in the beginning, like, we don't want to just clear our names. We want to do something. We want to be there for Gotham, because, I mean, if Batman can do it, why can't we do it? And also, all Robins in the comic books were so young. It's like everyone looks at us like, oh, these kids, how does the GCPD think that they killed Batman? I was like, you haven't seen what we could do yet. Like, you haven't seen what these kids are capable of, because, Jason Todd, Dick Grayson, all of these guys were young when Batman found him to, adopt them. So it's like, don't look at just these kids and think, oh yeah, they're just kids. They're not capable of much. Like, trust me, they're capable of a lot. Especially
Exactly.
being like Bruce Wayne's adoptive son, Joker's daughter. We are going to dive into me and Fallon's dad eventually. Then we got Stephanie Brown's family, and then Lincoln Martin. Like, we got a whole big group of people who are very capable of protecting Gotham.
This was filmed largely in Atlanta.
Yes, the pilot was in Toronto, but everything else was in Atlanta.
What was the experience of filming in Atlanta?
It was amazing. I mean, going from like independent film to independent film, I've done one pretty large project called The Virgin of Highland Park, and Relish was like my first ever independent film. But this was my biggest project ever, and going into this with such, like, just just being just feeling so blessed. It's like you dreamt about this as actors. You dream about that moment of seeing your name plastered on the back of a seat and going to set, hearing that first team. And it's like once you're in there and you see all of it now, it's like, wow, that scene that I auditioned for, we're about to do it. Like we're 2 seconds away from filming it. Like it was such a humbling experience because like I didn't want it to end. I loved every second of every day. These long hours just felt like two because of how much we all loved each other, how much the crew just got along. Like the crew and the cast, just we merged so well and we just worked so well. It organically flew and there was like no complications ever. So, being able to walk on those sets, seeing Wayne Tower, seeing all these things that you've seen in comic books, my little nerd butt just lit up with excitement. I love what I do, and the fact that I was able to be a part of something so massive in my eyes. It was massive. I know it's not a grand thing, but to me, just being able to walk on those sets were just a dream come true. And working with the cast every day was just making it even easier because when you step onto those sets, you become those characters. You want to immerse yourself into that world, and they definitely put us in that world. Every time I stepped on a set, like outside, you see all this wood and like you think, okay, but then you step in, you're like, what the? How the hell did they do that? Like, it's amazing what they could do with set work. So I applaud the set designers so much, and I miss it so much. And it's only been like 2 weeks that I haven't worked, but I'm really hoping that people love it and we get a season two.
Nice. How did your life change after Relish?
I mean, it did change dramatically. I worked. It did change to the point where like that little Staten Island kid got to experience like a little red carpet event, like a little premiere of our film. So I got to experience so much that I would never gotten to experience before. But after all the hype of Relish kind of simmered down, this career has all those highs and lows. It went back to just normal life. I had to just find a job because I was out of high school by then and just figure out where I wanted to go. um, I moved to LA around the age of 19 after Relish, so I could have gotten better auditions, better opportunities, and I did. I had so many amazing auditions that I worked on for years, and did they all not get back to me? No, but the fact that I was able to go in front of those casting directors and meet people that I've never met before, put my face in front of people that never seen me before so they could remember me for future auditions, that's all I cared about. That's all I care about now. I know that Gotham Knights is hope it's it. I'm hoping that we go the mile, but things can happen, and I'm so grateful that we even got a season one. But every audition is a step in the right direction. So after Relish, it was just audition, audition, audition. I eventually got put in The Virgin of Highland Park, starring Dermot Mulroney and Penelope Ann Miller. That was really cool. Did I meet them? No, because our days never aligned. But I bet they're really, really cool. And yeah, and then after that I was in another independent film called Our Language is Chaos, which is actually really, really, really interesting story. Very raunchy, but I like it. I gotta say, it's like 20 minutes, but I think it could actually go the mile, I'm not gonna lie. And then after that, Gotham Knights was put into my lap, so it was pretty much just work, 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 audition, 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 hope for the best, and keep going. After Relish, I just realized what I wanted to do, and it was this. And yeah, with every audition that has passed me, I just knew something else was coming, and I know it's right around the corner. Was it 3 years right around the corner? Yeah, but it was there. Like I knew something was coming, and I got gifted Gotham Knights as an audition, and so it's for any aspiring actor, I think that they should just know it's like the journey is going to be rough, but just every audition is a step closer to that one yes. And that's all you got to fight for.
Good as well to No Ordinary Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great.
Yes.
I
No
wonder,
worries.
that was an extraordinary film. Um, when you were growing up, in terms of representation, would you see people you could relate to? Would you see people that you said this could be me? Did it take a while, or was there anybody that you can pinpoint?
It took a while. I mean, the first person I ever saw that I actually genuinely connected with because she was actually a trans woman
Yeah.
um, was Laverne Cox in Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
Um, the only representation I saw prior to that was someone who wasn't even trans in real life. She was just an actress who portrayed a trans man. I think it was Degrassi.
Okay.
Um, and that was just one of the do I don't agree with the fact that a cis woman was playing a transgender man. No, but do I appreciate the fact that they gave this character put this character in Degrassi? Yes, because as the small 13-year-old kid so flippin' confused in his room, just trying to figure out what the hell he is, this episode comes on and that actress was talking about him in the show being transgender. And I'm like, huh, okay. Now that was the first time I heard of transgender. And I'm like, okay, I did all my research and I'm like, I still don't understand because they didn't portray that character well enough.
Sure.
And then I saw Laverne Cox and I'm like, okay, I feel like that, but opposite. I'm like, I want to be a man. So it's like, okay, now I know what to search up. Now I know what to Google. So like after seeing Laverne Cox, I was like, okay, okay, yes, I can now act, hopefully, and now I know who and what I am. So it was a combination of the two, but it took a while to get there because I don't remember when Origins is the New Black came out, and but yeah, she was a huge help in helping me see that I can do this and I can be an actor. Did it take a little bit longer even after realizing that? Yeah, because I was like, no one's gonna want to hire me, and I'm like, but it was all a domino effect, if you will.
Your own, I mean, the decision to come out, how difficult was that for you, your family, people around you?
um, Coming out was pretty interesting. I came out in stages because I wanted to see what my mom, because I knew who I was and what I was a while ago before anything. So I just, at first, I told my mom I was bisexual. She was like, okay. Then I was like, okay, you know what, mom? I think at the time I'm lesbian. She's like, all right, yeah, that's fine. Then eventually I couldn't hold it in anymore. I was like, she's in the kitchen and I just walk in and I'm like, so, hey, mom, how's your day going? She's like, it's fine. How's yours? I'm like, yeah, it could be better. Listen, I want to be a man. Now, I know that might sound crazy, but it's possible. I've researched it. It's called being transgender. Let me know what you think about that. And I just walked away. I didn't want, and she was just like, wait, don't walk away. Cause like my mom has told me in the past, like you could be an alien and I'd still love you because we've had a very rough upbringing in life. My childhood wasn't the greatest, but my mom has always been there for me.
Mhm.
Um, she's my rock. She's literally my mom and my dad. So it's kind of like it's me, my mom, and my brother, and now my stepdad. But me and my mom have just this bond that like has because of the stuff that's happened in the past. So I knew she would be okay with it, but it's always that initial like, but what if she isn't? Like she says this, but it's like, but she doesn't understand that now her daughter is no longer there. Like this is her son now. Like I've always been her son, and she's got to realize that and kind of say goodbye to the thing that she thought. So when I told her, and then she just turns me around, she's like, listen, I love you. I just don't understand. You're going to have to walk me through this because this is all very new to me. And I'm like, totally get it. But like, I know a lot of people's experiences with coming out is so different. And I'm so humbled with knowing that mine is a very, like, it's sadly not, like sometimes you think it's not, can't find the right word, the right reaction because usually you expect the other thing because I've just grown up seeing all these movies with people coming out and their parents just shitting on them. And I'm like, is it always like that though? It made me think it was always like that. So I felt like I was kind of stuck. I was like, okay, damn, I can't come out. But it's like, but I can. But media in the past has made me think like, this is what my parents going to react like. This is how this is what's going to happen. And, I've never felt more supported by my family. Did I need to walk them through a few things? And was it spotty here and there? Sure. It was a huge transition for everyone.
Yeah.
But now all they see me as is Tyler. They looking back, they're like, I can't even see you as that person because like you were always Tyler. And I told them, I was like, I've always been your son. I was just trapped under all that bullshit. So it's really nice to have gotten to this point because I'm now almost 5 or 6 years into my transition, and it's been a hard journey, but like I'm at a point now where I just feel at peace,
That's great. Where would you say Hollywood is right now in terms of positive portrayals of trans individuals? I mean, are we obviously, I mean, would you say that there's still a lot more work that needs to be done? Are we getting there right now?
I think the representation in Hollywood for trans people and just for LGBT representation in general is getting better, but we are still very far behind in a lot of ways. For instance, like I think there's only 4 trans actors on the DC that I know of right now. Nicole Maines being one of them in The Flash. Chella Man in Titans, and I'm forgetting the last one, but she is also a trans woman, I believe. I just think we need to take up more space. I just think there's not a lot of trans actors out there. Period. When I got my agent, I knew that she was shocked to see a trans actor because she doesn't have a lot of trans actors on her roster, or she doesn't have a trans actor on her roster at the time, because it's like I was very brand new to everything, because I feel like Laverne Cox and a lot of other actors in the past have really paved the way for me to be here, because when I hear like, yeah, I don't have a trans actor on my roster right now, I'm like, oh wow, okay. But at the same time, I think to myself, I'm just a man, who just so happens to be trans. I'm not a trans actor, I think we still have a lot to work on in terms of like, this man is just a man who just so happens to be trans. So let's give people who deserve those trans roles, because there's trans actors out there. Let's give them those roles.
Sure.
Not taking away from anything else. We're just like, if there's people out there who actually have been through this and can do the part well, give it to him. Exactly. So, because as I said in Degrassi, like I've seen a woman portray a trans man before, and that's just like, we're right here. We've been here all the time, but now it's just, I think we're just finally breaking the ice, coming to the surface. So do we still have a long way to go? Yes, but we're paving the way for young actors, for young directors, writers, for new people to fill these industry gaps that have been lagging in a lot of ways, and move the people who don't have the best voice for our community out of the way, because sometimes I think people who think they understand us know how to write for us. And that's why I was very appreciative to Natalie, Chad, and James, because they would come to me and say, do you think Cullen would say this? Do you think your community would benefit from your character doing this? And like, they would come to me and actually ask me my opinion, because they didn't want to write for something they didn't understand. In certain ways, they did understand me as a person, but in terms of things that a trans person would say, they can't speak for me, and I felt so seen. Like, I don't think a lot of people would do that for many. So I was so honored to just constantly be a part of sets and crews and casts in my short time as being an actor, that they all have respected my pronouns. They've all just asked me polite questions just to understand more. And I can tell this industry is just being filled with more positivity rather than being shoved like just negative thoughts down each other's throats all the time. It's definitely changing. I can see it, because we even had to get like the day before we all went to set, we had to be a part of a seminar or a class that discussed pronouns,
Yep.
respecting one's gender identity. And I'm like, you would not find this seminar back in 2002. So I'm like, or 2010 for that matter as
Or
well. So it's like,
2020, to that matter, meaning.
exactly. So I'm like, we have come a long way.
Exactly.
But we,
Yeah. I got one more quick question for you.
yeah,
I read an interview in which you said you hope to be a voice for trans and LGBTQ youth. Can you talk about that?
yeah. I've always been, when I was younger, I've always felt so lost, not being able to be seen. Luckily, this generation is so vocal and so open. So there's so many voices for so many trans youth and trans teenagers out there. But I just, I feel like I have a lot of things to relate to. And especially going into an acting industry, I feel like we're a rare breed now. So I just don't want anyone who's like me to think that they can't do this. I've always wanted to just be that person that you saw on the screen is like, oh wait, oh shit, yeah, can I do that? Like, I just want to be that person that Laverne Cox was for me. So as much as I can help, as much as I can talk, advocate, just be a voice for those that don't have one. That's what I vow to do, and that's what I've always wanted to do. And eventually, when now that I can financially donate to places and give back to the community, I've been trying to do that as well. It's now that I'm in a position not hiding anymore, I just want to be unapologetically trans and unapologetically gay and open. It's and just be a voice for those. I think that's what we deserve. We deserve to take up the space. Everyone deserves to take up the space.
That's great. Thank you so much. The new series, Gotham Knights, is about to premiere on the CW. I've seen the pilot episode and I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait to dive into the other episodes. I think people are really going to enjoy it. Tyler, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Great talking to you. Hopefully there'll be a second season.
Crossing my fingers. Crossing my fingers. I'm gonna go pray on that right now.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
That went really well. Thanks so much. That went really well. Thanks so much.
Anytime, anytime.
Yeah.
You just let me know if there's a.
You're breaking up.
You not hear me?
No.
I said, let me know if there's anybody else that you would like to talk
Okay.
to help out.
That's great. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.